81-year-old Wilomeana Filkins lived in East Greenbush, New York in 1994. She went by the name Violet. Violet lived alone and was well liked by her neighbors. She never married and did not have children. As a retiree from the Department of Education, she was an avid gardener and volunteer. She lived in East Greenbush for 60 years after growing up in Rensselaer with 7 sisters and 1 brother. On August 19th of 1994, Violet's brother and niece went up to her apartment after they were unable to reach her. There, they discovered her body. An autopsy concluded that her life was taken 2 days before she was found. Violet suffered multiple blows to the head. Investigators collected forensic evidence from the crime scene and stored it to be used later. It was declared a robbery gone wrong after it was discovered that Violet's car had been stolen on the same day her life was taken and then later returned. In 2019, a woman contacted the police with a very valuable tip. She watched a true crime show where Violet's case was mentioned. The woman then recalled a former boyfriend that broke down, telling her a story of him robbing a woman and hitting her. The woman thought that her former boyfriend might be responsible for what happened to Violet. The former boyfriend is Jeremiah Guyette. He was 17 years old when the crime took place. Guyette served in the Air Force in Florida and later on became a bus driver for elderly people in New York. On October 1st of 2019, East Greenbush Police Detective Sergeant Michael Guadagnino interviewed Guyette. Guyette became defensive and visibly upset. He declined to talk with authorities without a lawyer. The next morning, authorities found his body in the garage of his home in Rosendale, nearly 70 miles south of East Greenbush. An autopsy found Guyette took his own life. Investigators then resubmitted all the physical evidence from the original investigation, including a wooden coffee table with an unknown fingerprint. While investigators were waiting for results to come back, one of Guyette's family members contacted them. The family member said that on the day investigators interviewed Guyette, he contacted them. Guyette called the family member in a panic, saying that he did not want to go to prison. He told the relative that when he was younger, he planned to rob a bank and steal a car to get money for college. If that was not enough evidence, the results came back in 2023 and showed it was Guyette's fingerprint collected at the crime scene. On January 19th of 2023, the East Greenbush Police Department held a news conference to announce that Jeremiah Guyette was responsible for taking Wilomeana Violet Filkins' life. During the news conference, Violet's niece, Carol Filkins, thanked authorities and recalled her aunt as a simple woman who lived quietly and never would have envisioned anything like this happening. "We're all very thankful it has been resolved," she said. On January 28th of 2012, a resident discovered a human skull at Brookhaven Trailer Park in Opelika, Alabama. Police searched the surrounding area and found more remains, including a pink, long-sleeve shirt with heart buttons and ruffles nearby on a creek bank. Detectives determined the skull belonged to a young black girl, around 4 to 7 years of age. Evidence from her bones indicated she was malnourished, and she also had a visible deformity on her left eye. This could be natural or a result of injury or abuse. Forensic artists at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created an image of what the unknown girl may have looked like. Detectives looked at school and birth records, but this yielded no results. After not being identified, she was named the Opelika Jane Doe. In September of 2016, a former vacation Bible school teacher at the Greater Peace Church in Opelika provided photos of a child who resembled the unknown girl that were taken in the summer of 2011. She would have been 4 to 5 years old. The teacher said that she had a slightly unkempt appearance and was not very clean. She had trouble communicating with other children and was quiet and stayed to herself. The teacher did not remember her name, and the church did not formally register children, so there were no records. The church was located 10 minutes from where the remains were found. Police used software to enhance the images, hoping someone in the public would recognize the girl. Recently, the Opelika Police Department teamed up with Othram Laboratories to use advanced DNA testing and investigative genetic genealogy to identify the Jane Doe. In January of 2022, Opelika Jane Doe's remains were sent to Othram's laboratory in the Woodlands, Texas. A DNA extract from the remains was used to build a comprehensive genealogical profile, which was uploaded to the genealogical database. The Opelika Police Department asked Barbara Ray Venter, known for helping police in identifying people, to produce investigative leads, which were then returned to investigators. Then, in January of 2023, Othram confirmed that Opelika Jane Doe has been identified as Amore Javea Wiggins. They said that in October of 2022, 50-year-old Lamar Vickerstaff was identified as Amore's father. He was born and raised in Opelika, Alabama before he enlisted in the U.S. Navy. He also spent time in Virginia, Hawaii, and Florida. In December of 2022, Opelika detectives traveled to Mayport Naval Station in Jacksonville, where Vickerstaff was stationed at the time, to notify him. Vickerstaff's wife, Ruth, to whom he has been married to since May of 2006, told detectives that she did not know who Vickerstaff's daughter was or who her mother was. Barbara Ray Venter identified the biological mother to be Sherry Wiggins, who resided in Maryland. In December of 2022, aged 37, she confirmed she was the biological mother of Amore. Wiggins was a native of Norfolk, Virginia, and provided documentation showing that the Vickerstaffs obtained legal and physical custody of her daughter in 2009. At that time, her visitation with Amore was suspended. She also provided documents showing that she had continuously paid child support to Vickerstaff since 2009. On January 17, 2023, Lamar and Ruth Vickerstaff were arrested in Jacksonville, Florida. Lamar was charged with taking Amore's life, and his wife was arrested for failure to report a missing child. They are currently being held at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office pending extradition to Lee County, Alabama. Detectives reached out to the school boards and pediatric clinics in several states where the Vickerstaffs resided and determined that Amore was never enrolled in school, nor was she reported a missing person. This case remains under investigation, and detectives need the public's assistance in gathering additional details regarding Lamar and Ruth Vickerstaff's relationship with Amore Wiggins and her time spent in Opelika, Alabama. If you have any information, please contact the Opelika Police Department Detective Division at 334-705-5220 or the Secret Witness Hotline at 334-745-8665.